Willie D Live.
What's up, family? According to a new report, Americans are leaving the United States in record numbers. I ain't got no problem with that. Maybe, just maybe, this mass exodus could cause pause. Maybe somebody, somewhere, one of these politicians will grow a path and say, yo, we can't have this, man. We are the land of milk and honey. People come to America, not leave. We got to do something about this, right? America is hemorrhaging socially. And something's got to be done. America is going to hell in a handbasket. This is one of the very few societies in the world who has a very hard time learning from past mistakes. Yeah, fam. Let's check out this article in The Independent. Americans appear to be leaving the U.S. at once-in-a-century levels, fleeing divisive politics and a cost of living crisis. In 2025, the flow of Americans ditching the 50 states for good caused the first estimated net outward migration of the U.S. population in decades, something that likely hasn't happened since the 1929 Great Depression. Previously, the Americans leaving were super adventurous and well-credentialed. Jen Barnett, founder of the resettlement consultancy firm Expatsy, told the Wall Street Journal. Now they're ordinary people like me. In 2024, Barnett joined in the trend, relocating to Yucatan, Mexico. The U.S. government doesn't officially track the number of Americans who've resettled abroad, so estimates of just how many people left can vary. In 2025, net outward migration was between negative 10,000 and negative 295,000 people, Brookings estimates, forecasting a similar negative trend for 2026. Others have pegged the outflow at around 150,000 people in 2025. Before 2009, check this out, family, a typical year saw 200 to 400 people renounce their citizenship. By 2025, that figure was nearing 5,000, with more renunciations expected this year because fees to do so have dropped steeply. We can stop right there, fam. So you get the picture. Americans are getting up out of here. Now, cost of living and divisive politics. That's the biggest thing, fam. That's what's happening. Cost of living and divisive politics. America is divided along every single metric you can think of. Division, specializing in it because you have a president who wakes up every single day and goes to war with somebody, usually one of his citizens, right? Usually somebody within the United States he has a problem with, and he gets on his failed Truth Social network and start picking away. Yeah, you know, this is what's happening. Now, I've had the luxury of being able to live abroad, and I can tell you that I enjoyed my time abroad more. So people say, well, why don't you leave? Go back. It's not that simple. Most people who live in the United States will not leave because they don't have the finances. Others won't leave because this is what they know and this is all they know. Just like even in some war-torn countries, some people will not even leave. As dangerous as it is, they will not leave because that's all they know. That's their comfort zone, right? Even if some people wanted to leave this country, let's say a parent wanted to leave, their children probably wouldn't follow suit because they are comfortable in the US. This is where their friends are. This is where they went to school at. This is where their history is. And so that makes a big difference. And so that right there would prevent a lot of older people from actually leaving because they don't want to be that far away from their children. But when you consider cost of living, when you consider the politics, when you consider the social advantages, the system, when you consider just the overall quality of life, there are many, many, many more countries out there, dozens of more countries out there that have a way better quality of life, overall quality of life than America. You can't tell me every day that you wake up, you don't think about your life being in danger. You can't tell me that you don't go over there because you're afraid that you might get hurt, or you lock your doors when you're riding down the street because you're afraid somebody might try to open the door and snatch it. You can't tell me that when you leave the mall, you don't have your head on a swivel. When you are inside of your own house, you're not locking the doors because you don't want some type of predator to come inside of your house. You can't tell me that you are not fearful living in this country. So what is the draw? The draw is the so-called freedom of speech, which is being limited every day, and economic opportunities, right? That's the biggest draw. That's all the United States really got going. Because if you look at all of the other metrics, if you look at education, you look at transportation, you look at infrastructure, you look at government. If you look at healthcare, did I mention that? Healthcare. So much of what we need, if you think about that, if you think about the pillars, if you think about the institutions, America is damn near last on everything. America's in the bottom half of everything. The only thing America really got going for itself is opportunity for money, which, by the way, ironically, is what has been America's downfall from day one, hence slavery. You see? It's the love of money, in America. It's why you have so many demons. It's people building penitentiaries to put citizens in, and they need to fill those penitentiaries. Even if people are innocent, they will make up a crime. They will go hard on you. They will over sentence because they need that free labor, right? You have a country that is fueled by prison labor. We're talking about millions of people employed for 5 cents a day, 20, 30 cents a day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's big business. And so America don't have a moral compass. America's in no position to tell other countries what they should and shouldn't be doing. America's in no positions to point at China or North Korea and complain about human rights in Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan or any other country, right? America's in no position to do that. There are other countries that are far more superior in quality of life. And if someone don't mind being away from their roots, being away from their loved ones, if they don't mind that, if they cool being by themselves or just with their significant other or just their immediate family, they could have a really good life somewhere else. But I would caution anybody, especially Black Americans, any brown people, I would caution them to, wherever you go, just make sure that you can defend yourself against America, because this is the most hating-ass country, thieving-ass country on the planet. And if they look up and see another country getting it and just thriving, especially a country that is thriving because of the input of Black Americans, oh man, you're talking about some hating. You're talking about some Tulsa, Oklahoma all over again. Oh man, you ain't seen it. Yeah, man, he's safe, fam. Yeah, so you got other countries out there. If you look at these other countries, that the lifestyle is far superior than here in America. There's far less crime. There are many more freedoms. And before I go any further with the freedoms, oftentimes we talk about, yeah, well, women can't do this and men can't, or women can't do this, and you have to da 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 da. They only make us focus on those repressive regimes like China or North Korea or maybe Iran or United Arab Emirates and stuff like that, just the Middle East stuff, right? And some of the Asian stuff, right? But there are many, many more countries all around the world that don't practice all of that, right? There are many more countries that are not as corrupt, don't limit women's opportunities, and they are not targeting Black people, and you don't have to worry about waking up to racism on a daily basis and people calling you the N-word. None of that. That stuff is damn near non-existent in some places. And so they like to make us focus on the Middle East and the countries that have the dictatorships and stuff like that. But there are many more countries out there. We have many more options, way more options. And like I said, crime is way lower. If you look at the crime, it's overall way lower than it is in the United States. Even in some of the Eastern countries, the Middle Eastern countries, they might kill, let's say they killed 1,000 people. Let's say the government decide we're going to kill 1,000 people. That's still far less than the number of Americans who are killed every year or every month. That's still far, far, far less, right? It's far less. They don't have the crime, Maybe they do this right here that's different from the way we do it. But let's say they kill 1,000 people. Well, America they kill 1,000 people too, but they do it in a different way. Besides Americans who kill Americans and crime being so high, they don't have the crime that we have. So besides crime being so high, America has mandated police officers to squeeze off on citizens. And I say mandated because it had to be mandated for them to get away with it as often as they get away with it. So, you can put 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other. But yeah, so you got also, and this is something to consider, fam, if you've never traveled before. Other places are far more interesting than a land where every town looks exactly the same. That's a huge thing in these other countries. In America, you can go to every city, man, and it's a cookie cutter town. All of the houses look alike. All of the buildings look alike. The office parks look alike. Everything looks alike in America, right? It's just all cut and paste. You go to these other countries and it's far more interesting, the beauty of some of these other countries. It's just so amazing. But you wouldn't know that if you've never traveled. And they don't want you to know that because all you get bombarded with on a daily basis is how great America is. Well, how you know America is so much greater than every other country if you've never been anywhere else? Kill the fact, because everybody's always trying to come here. I just told you, dummy, the only reason why they're coming here is because of money, the opportunity. That's it. And we all know money is the root of all evil. So what you talking about? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.